Are you saying to me that you just started learning a new language, for example, English, and you're already thinking about mastering the present perfect continuous and the subjunctive in Spanish? Like, come on. Hi, my name is Hans and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to talk about if you need to study grammar in the beginning and learning a new language. And by the end of this video, you're going to be able to start learning a new language without thinking, without confusion, without thinking about whether you should study grammar right in the beginning or later on. So let's get started. So the reason number one for not studying grammar in the beginning when you're learning a language is native don't learn grammar when they were babies. So you tell me that you just started learning a new language and you want to study the grammar, while native when they were babies like 1, 2, 3 or 4 until 7 years, they don't study grammar actively, like they're just absorbing the language, repeating it, listen to it, not study it. They wait until middle school, like high school, to study the grammar actively, like explicitly. They just absorb the grammar and they just speak the language without. But okay, at the beginning when they're trying to speak the language, they made a lot of mistakes. I know. But later on, when they get used to the language, they just speak normally. They speak the language without making mistakes and perfect grammar without studying the grammar. And that said, you just have to absorb. You just have to absorb the language by listening to it. And the second reason is you lose motivation. So it's understanding that you're not going to understand the grammar point of a language in the beginning. For example, me, when I started to learn Russian, I was obsessed with understanding the cases, and that was a big mistake because I even if I spent days and days, hours and hours trying to understand them, I didn't understand. uh, I didn't understand nothing. They were too difficult, too hard, and I was new to it. And that's one of the reasons that I gave up on learning Russian. You will going to think about giving up. You'll be frustrating. You hate the language for not understanding the grammar. You're gonna give up. You lose motivation. And the reason number three is if your vocabulary is big enough, you're gonna understand without knowing grammar. If you know the words, you're gonna understand like basic conversation or videos at 10% or 50% without knowing any grammar. When learning a language, when I was learning Russian, I knew some vocabularies because of comprehensible input. So it was pretty easy to understand something without knowing the grammar. So that was the three reason for not studying grammar at the beginning when learning a language. My final advice is you need more words, more vocabulary, expand your vocabulary, not grammar in the beginning. And later on, when you reach a certain level in the language, like the intermediate B2, if you don't understand a grammar point, try to just take a day, a week, and check out the grammar, like examples, read about it, and just move on. Don't obsess over grammar. And over time, you just will absorb the grammar by listening and speaking the language. I'm not saying that grammar is not important. Grammar is important, but give it some time. For example, for me, I just take Friday to like study a grammar point that I don't understand in English and just move on. And sometimes I don't even do it because sometimes just boring to study grammar, like specifically grammar, like in isolation. So I just love to just watch YouTube videos in English and I'm sure that I'm learning grammar at the same time, and by reading too. Read too. You have to read, and you just absorbing the grammar naturally. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.